Can you imagine a company with like more subscribers than the entire U.S. population?
That's a lot of people.
It's wild. That's Netflix.
Mm.
And that's what we're diving into today. Their latest, win, really.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I was reading this article from The Motley Fool about Netflix hitting a record-breaking 300 million subscribers.
Wow.
And, I mean, just to put that into perspective, the entire U.S. population is only about 345 million.
So almost everyone in the U.S. has Netflix.
I know, right? It's crazy.
It's a huge reach, especially when you think about how their subscriber base was actually kind of plateauing a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It was hovering around like 220 million.
Yeah, back in 2022, they were actually losing subscribers.
I remember that.
This turnaround, a 36% growth in just 2.5 years, it has to have some pretty big implications.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just for Netflix, but like for the whole entertainment landscape.
For sure. I think this is a big signal.
Yeah.
Not just for investors, but I think for consumers too.
Yeah.
Shifting trends, how we consume content, maybe even a peek into the future of how we watch everything.
Okay, so let's break this down a bit.
Okay.
What were some of the major moves that Netflix made to turn things around? I'm thinking about, those headlines about them cracking down on password sharing.
Right.
And then rolling out that ad-supported tier.
Yeah, those were some pretty bold moves.
They were.
And I remember initially, like, a lot of controversy around that. Some analysts were even predicting those changes would backfire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that they'd lead to even more subscriber losses.
Interesting.
But Netflix kind of held firm, and it looks like it paid off, right?
Yeah, it seems like it.
But, the question is, were those short-term fixes just to boost numbers, or was it like a strategic shift toward a whole new business model?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
It's interesting to think about,
Yeah. I mean, I'm really curious to see how that plays out in the long run. But for now, it seems like those decisions, along with, their investment in all this original programming, have been big factors in this incredible growth spurt.
Absolutely. And think about, the cultural impact of some of those shows.
Totally.
Like Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
The Crown, Squid Game. I mean, they've become global phenomena.
For sure. They're definitely producing some buzzworthy content.
Yeah.
But what I find really interesting is their move into live sports.
Interesting.
Those Christmas Day NFL games on Netflix were massive.
They were.
Breaking streaming records with like 30 million viewers each.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but live sports, that's a whole different game, right?
Yeah.
You've got huge licensing costs.
Right.
Fierce competition.
Absolutely.
Do you think they can really compete with those established players? Like ESPN, I mean, it's a big risk.
It is.
But if anyone can pull it off, I feel like it's probably Netflix, right?
Yeah, probably.
But what do you make of their recent forays into boxing?
Okay, yeah.
With that Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, and even WWE Monday Night Raw.
It's interesting, right? It seems like they're kind of testing the waters a little bit, seeing what resonates, with different audiences.
Makes you wonder if they are gearing up for like a full-fledged move into live sports broadcasting.
It would be a game changer, wouldn't it?
It would.
Imagine being able to watch like everything.
Yeah. From
prestige dramas to like live NFL games all on one platform.
It would be pretty convenient, wouldn't it?
So convenient.
Okay, so let's not forget about the investors.
Right.
This Motley Fool article that I was telling you about calls Netflix a buy.
Okay.
Especially for those growth-focused investors out there.
Interesting.
But they did point out that the high price-to-earnings ratio, really 50x, might make some value investors a little hesitant.
Yeah, that price-to-earnings ratio, or PE ratio, is a key metric, that investors use to evaluate a company's stock price relative to its earnings.
Right.
And a high PE ratio, like the one that Netflix has, often indicates that investors are expecting high future growth.
Racy.
So that can be attractive to, to those growth-focused investors who are willing to pay a premium for that potential.
But for those who are, more focused on a company's current earnings and dividends, that high PE ratio might give them pause.
Yeah, it's all about balancing risk tolerance and investment goals.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But beyond, the financials, there's this bigger question.
Right.
What does Netflix's success and this, move into live sports really mean for the future of how we consume entertainment?
Yeah, that's the big question.
I mean, think about it. just a decade or two ago, cable TV was king.
It was.
Now, streaming services are dominating the landscape.
It's amazing how quickly things change.
It is.
It really is.
Netflix is at the forefront of this massive shift. And, every move has the potential to, reshape the industry.
Totally. It's fascinating to watch.
It really is. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, are we watching the decline of traditional television as we know it?
It's a good question.
And if so, what's going to take its place?
It seems like the lines are blurring a little bit.
Yeah, they are.
Streaming services aren't just about, on-demand movies and TV shows anymore.
Right.
They're becoming like hubs for all forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
From documentaries,
right,
stand-up comedy, to, potentially live sports.
Right.
Even interactive experiences.
And Netflix is driving a lot of this change.
Absolutely.
With their, aggressive expansion.
Right.
Constant innovation.
They're constantly innovating.
But they're not the only player in the game, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
What about the competition?
You've got, established players like Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus R, all those, and all the newer entrants trying to get a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, the competition's only going to get more fierce.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So how do you think Netflix stacks up against these rivals?
Well, they definitely have a head start, right?
Right.
And that massive subscriber base.
Yeah.
But the other players, they're catching up. They're investing heavily in their own original content, expanding into new territories.
This brings us to, a pretty big question.
Yeah.
Can Netflix maintain their dominance in this increasingly, competitive landscape?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. And it's one that we will be exploring more in depth in the next part of this deep dive. But for now, let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
I want to talk about the potential downsides.
Okay, yeah.
Of this whole move into live sports because, let's face it, no venture is without risks.
Oh, for sure. There are definitely some very real challenges that, Netflix is going to need to overcome if they want to succeed in this new arena.
Exactly.
So let's dig into those.
All right, let's do it.
All
right, so we were talking about the potential downsides of Netflix, jumping into this whole live sports thing.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest hurdles they're going to have to clear?
Well, I think, for starters, live sports broadcasting, it takes a lot of upfront investment.
Yeah.
I mean, the licensing deals alone can be astronomical.
Yeah.
Especially, for popular leagues.
Right.
Like the NFL.
Yeah.
The NBA.
We're talking billions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Even for a company as successful as Netflix, that's a lot of cash to throw around.
It is.
And then on top of that, you've got the technical challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Streaming live sports requires a really robust infrastructure.
It does.
Something that can handle these massive amounts of data and traffic without any lag or buffering.
You can't have the game freezing up at a crucial moment. Viewers, they're going to be furious.
Yeah, totally.
They already got that taste of, smooth live streaming with those Christmas Day games.
Right.
Those expectations are going to be tough to maintain if they go all in.
Yeah, that's true.
On live sports, it's going to be tough.
And I feel like, we also can't forget about the competition.
No, absolutely not.
Netflix is entering this space that's totally dominated by these well-established players.
Right.
You got ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports.
Yeah, but these networks, they've got decades of experience.
Yeah.
Deep relationships with leagues, advertisers, a loyal viewership. It's not going to be easy for Netflix to carve out a niche.
No, for sure.
In this crowded market.
So it's not just about having the money and the technology. It's about winning over these viewers who are so accustomed to watching sports on these traditional networks.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You got to convince them to switch over to Netflix to get their sports fix.
It's a big ask.
It is.
I think, they're going to need to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find ways to differentiate themselves from the competition.
Right.
Maybe, by offering some unique features.
Okay.
Or, exclusive content.
Yeah.
Or a more personalized viewing experience. Yeah, they might even have to rethink the whole traditional sports broadcasting format altogether.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds like they might need to disrupt the sports viewing experience.
Yeah.
Just like they disrupted the way we watch, movies and TV shows.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Like, what are some ways that they could do that?
Well, imagine if they integrated interactive elements into live sports broadcasts.
Interesting.
Like, viewers could vote on replays, participate in real-time polls, or even like interact with athletes and commentators during the game.
Wow, that would be pretty cool.
Fun, right?
Yeah, it would make watching sports on Netflix like way more engaging,
right.
A more immersive experience.
Yeah, and I think it would, appeal to, to younger viewers especially.
Yeah, totally.
Who are, used to that interactive content on platforms like, Twitch and YouTube.
I think you're right.
I think so.
What else?
Well, they could also, leverage their, data and analytics capabilities to create a more personalized sports viewing experience. They could, offer tailored recommendations, highly specific, plays or stats based on your favorite teams and players.
Okay.
Or even like predict game outcomes using their algorithms.
So essentially they're turning like sports watching into a choose your own adventure kind of experience where you can customize what you see.
Right.
And how you interact with the game.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would.
And then, there's also, you can't forget about the global potential here.
Right.
Netflix, they've got, a presence in almost every country in the world.
Yeah, they do.
And that gives them, this unique opportunity to bring live sports to new audiences.
Right.
Who, maybe don't have access to traditional sports networks.
That's a huge advantage, isn't it?
It's huge.
I mean, they could tap into these underserved markets.
Yeah.
And create a whole new generation of sports fans.
Global.
Worldwide.
It's pretty exciting to think about.
It is. It's it's a bold vision.
It is.
But I think it's it's in line with Netflix's history of disrupting the status quo.
It is.
They're not afraid to take risks.
No.
They're not afraid to experiment.
Not at all.
And they've proven time and time again that they can adapt to changing consumer preferences.
The're very good at that.
They are.
Yeah. And speaking of adaptation, I mean, remember like a few years ago?
Yeah.
When their subscriber growth totally stalled.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed like everyone was talking about like peak Netflix.
Right.
And, there were all these doubts about their ability to, keep growing.
It was a rough patch for them.
It was.
But they turned things around.
They did.
And they did it with some pretty drastic measures.
Yeah. I mean, cracking down on password sharing.
Right.
Introducing an ad-supported tier.
Right.
I mean, those were risky moves.
They were.
But they paid off.
They did.
It showed that, that Netflix is, they're not afraid to make tough decisions.
Yeah.
And, adapt to, changing market dynamics.
Yeah.
And I think it also highlighted, their willingness to experiment with different business models.
Right.
Revenue streams.
And it seems like they're kind of taking a similar approach.
I think so.
With this venture into live sports, right? They're testing the waters.
Yeah.
Experimenting with different formats, content, seeing what works.
Right.
It's a calculated risk.
It is.
But, it could have a huge payoff.
It could.
If they can execute it effectively.
It's, it's a classic example of their data-driven approach.
Yeah.
They're gathering information.
Right.
Analyzing trends.
Yeah.
Adjusting their strategy based on, what they learn.
Right.
They're not just, throwing money at the problem.
Right.
They're being, strategic and methodical about it.
It's like they're running this, giant experiment, right?
It is.
And we're all just watching to see what happens.
That's right.
But it's not just about live sports, is it?
No.
I mean, they're also making big moves in other areas.
Right.
Like, mobile gaming merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they're trying to, create this, complete entertainment ecosystem.
Yeah.
Where you can watch, your favorite shows, play games based on those shows, buy merchandise, all within the Netflix platform.
All in one place.
It's almost like they're building their own little metaverse.
It is kind of
a self-contained entertainment universe that you never have to leave.
Yeah. And it it's a fascinating strategy.
Yeah.
I think, it could have a profound impact on the future of the entire entertainment industry.
Yeah.
But it also, it does raise some important questions about their long-term goals.
What are those?
Well, I mean, are they trying to become like the one-stop shop for all your entertainment needs?
Or are they like just hedging their bets?
Yeah.
Diversifying their offerings just to stay ahead of the curve?
Those are good questions. I think those are questions that only time will answer.
Yeah, for sure.
But one thing's for sure, Netflix, they're a company that's constantly innovating.
Right.
And evolving.
Yeah.
They're not content to just, rest on their laurels. They're always looking for that, the next big thing.
Right.
The next way to disrupt the industry.
Yeah.
And capture our attention.
Yeah.
Which is, what makes them so fascinating to watch.
It is. I totally agree.
They're a company that, that pushes the boundaries.
Yeah.
Challenges the status quo.
Yeah.
Makes us rethink how we consume entertainment.
And it's not just about entertainment.
No, it's not.
I mean, they're also like influencing culture, shaping our conversations.
Our understanding of the world.
Yeah. And even like impacting the global economy.
Absolutely.
You're right.
Their reach, it goes way beyond the screen.
It does.
They're a global force.
Yeah.
That's shaping the world around us
totally.
in ways that we're only beginning to, understand.
It's a story that's still being written.
Yeah.
And we're all like witnessing it unfold
in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about, Netflix's moves,
right?
What they might mean for their future. But what about the impact on the rest of the industry?
Yeah.
Like what happens to, traditional TV networks,
right?
Movie studios, even independent filmmakers?
That's a big question.
In a world that's dominated by these like streaming giants like Netflix.
Those are some big questions, and they're at the heart of this whole discussion.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Netflix's success has really, sent shockwaves.
It has.
Through the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And it's it's forcing everyone to adapt or risk being left behind.
So let's dive into that. Let's explore how Netflix's rise is like reshaping this whole entertainment landscape.
Okay.
And what it means for the future of how we create and consume content.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
All right. So we've talked a lot about Netflix.
Yeah.
And all their moves, but let's zoom out a bit.
Okay.
What does all this mean for the rest of the entertainment world?
I think, it's like Netflix dropped this like giant rock into the entertainment pond, and everyone else is still kind of figuring out how to navigate, the ripples.
Let's start with traditional TV networks. I mean, they're the ones who've really felt the impact the most directly, right? I mean, cable subscriptions have been declining for years.
Yeah.
And Netflix is a big part of that, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, they offer this massive library of content available on demand.
Yeah.
Personalized, to your tastes, and without those annoying commercial breaks.
Yeah.
It's it's tough for traditional TV to compete with that.
It's like the difference between, a buffet and a fixed menu.
Exactly.
Streaming gives you the power to choose what you want when you want it.
It's all about control.
Yeah, and that's incredibly appealing to viewers.
It is. It's very appealing.
But it's not like, traditional networks are just like giving up, right?
Yeah, well, they're not.
Some of them are launching their own streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Trying to compete directly with Netflix.
Yeah, we've seen that, like with HBO Max, Peacock, all those.
But it seems like an uphill battle.
It does.
Do you think they can actually make a dent in like Netflix's dominance?
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just about creating a streaming platform, right?
Right.
It's about shifting your entire mindset. These networks were built for a different era.
Yeah.
A different way of consuming content.
Yeah.
I mean, to succeed in this new world, they really need to adapt.
Yeah.
And that's not easy for large established organizations.
It's like trying to
It is.
turn a cruise ship on a dime.
That's a good analogy.
They're so big and set in their ways. It's really hard for them to react quickly to all these changes.
Yeah, it's hard to be nimble when you're that big.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got the movie studios, right?
Right.
They're facing a similar dilemma.
They are.
I mean, some studios have embraced streaming, partnering with Netflix, launching their own platforms. Disney's gone all in with Disney Plus. Seems to be working pretty well for them.
It is.
But other studios, they seem more hesitant.
Yeah, they do.
They're still clinging to that, that traditional theatrical release model.
The old way.
Yeah.
But, I think the pandemic really accelerated this whole shift.
Oh, for sure.
With theaters closed.
Right.
A lot of films, they, bypassed the big screen.
Yeah.
Went straight to streaming.
Totally.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Audiences didn't seem to mind.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
I mean, it feels like the lines between film and television are blurring.
They are, yeah.
It's all about content now.
It is. It's about the content.
Regardless of, how it's delivered.
Uh-huh.
And streaming is at the center of this this convergence.
It really is.
It's fascinating to watch these different segments of the industry grappling with all these changes.
Yeah.
Some embracing the disruption, others resisting.
Right.
And it's not always clear who's going to come out on top.
It's a real Wild West out there right now.
It is. It is.
It's exciting though.
It is exciting, but there's one group I'm particularly curious about.
Independent filmmakers. Yeah.
How are they navigating this new landscape?
Well, I think in some ways, streaming has actually been, a good thing.
Okay.
For independent filmmakers.
Okay.
It's given them this global platform to showcase their work.
Right.
Reach a much larger audience than they ever could have imagined before.
Yeah.
Especially, Netflix in particular has been a real champion of independent cinema.
They have.
Acquiring and distributing films from all over the world.
They really have.
It's amazing. It's really given a voice.
Yeah.
To, to stories and perspectives that might have otherwise gone unheard.
It really has.
So it's great.
Yeah, but there's also a flip side to all this, right?
Oh, of course.
I mean, the dominance of these few powerful streaming giants. It raises questions about the sustainability of independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
I mean, can these filmmakers really thrive in an environment where algorithms and big budgets are kind of dictating what gets seen?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is a big question. It's great that they have this wider platform.
Uh-huh.
But are they getting lost in the shuffle?
It's possible.
Yeah. Are their voices being drowned out by the big budget productions?
No, it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
It's it's not enough to just have a platform, right? You need to be seen.
You need visibility.
You need visibility. And in this world where algorithms are, they're determining what gets recommended.
Yeah.
It can be it can be tough for those independent films to break through the noise.
So it's not just about access, it's about discoverability.
Discoverability, yeah.
And that's a challenge for anyone who's trying to make their mark in the streaming era, whether you're an independent filmmaker, a musician, a podcaster.
It's a whole new set of rules.
It is.
Everyone's still trying to figure out how to play the game.
But beyond the the challenges, there's also this sense of excitement, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, streaming has opened up a world of possibilities.
It has.
Not just for viewers, but for creators too.
Totally. They have more freedom to experiment.
Right.
To push boundaries.
Yeah.
To tell stories that that might not have found a home.
Right.
In the in the traditional system.
I mean, it's almost like a democratization of content creation.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
In a way, right?
Yeah, and it's not just about filmmaking either.
Right.
I mean, streaming has transformed, the music industry, publishing industry, even the fitness industry. I mean, it's impacting every aspect of our lives these days.
It's truly a revolution.
It is.
And we're still in the early stages.
The early stages.
It's hard to predict what the future holds.
Impossible to know.
But one thing's for sure.
Okay.
The entertainment industry, it's never going to be the same.
No, it's not. It's never going to be the same.
And that's what makes this whole conversation so fascinating.
It is. It's it's so interesting to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, we're witnessing a a seismic shift.
We are.
A fundamental change in how we experience the world around us.
Yeah.
And Netflix is, they're right at the center of it all.
They are. They're not just a company. They're like a cultural force.
They are.
They're shaping our tastes,
right,
our conversations,
our understanding of the world.
And they're not going away anytime soon.
No, they're not.
So the next time you open up Netflix, you're scrolling through your recommendations, just, take a moment to think about the bigger picture.
That's a good point.
Think about, the forces at play.
Yeah.
The industries that are being disrupted, the creators, fighting for visibility.
Absolutely.
The viewers demanding more choice, more control.
It's a, it's a complex landscape.
It is.
It's constantly evolving, but, it's definitely worth paying attention to.
Because it's not just about entertainment anymore.
No, it's not.
It's about the future of, how we connect, how we learn, how we experience the world.
That's right. And that's something that we can all be a part of.
We can. We can.
Pretty exciting.
All right. So on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
Hope you enjoyed, exploring this world of Netflix.
It's a fascinating world.
It is. And its impact on the future of entertainment. So until next time, keep streaming.
Keep streaming.
Keep thinking.
Keep thinking.
And keep diving deep.
Dive deep.
Into the things that matter to you.
That's right.